Okay. All right, just waiting for this to load. All right, I am not going to wait for people to join me live. I'm just going to start. I won't wait for people to join me because this is actually going to my YouTube channel, but I thought, why not do it with my friends and my family? So kia ora whanau, everybody. I'm here in New Zealand and it's 8:27 p.m. in Auckland in New Zealand. It's Monday night. The 15th of June 2020. I'm just doing this video here to say, Black Lives Matter. Our girls at Marist College, they matter to their freedom, matter to us as parents, they matter to everybody who hears them pleading to be heard, but nobody seems to be listening to them. So this is me announcing that we are having a midweek protest at Marist Girls College in Mount Albert tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. I thought if I do it as a live video, as a video on YouTube and share it as a link, people can hear the voice behind this. So I've posted on my caption here, I did share a link before, which has been shared everywhere. I've received phone calls from different students coming from different schools, which is amazing. So I actually said midweek protest. First of all, why do we protest? And before I go any further, this is again the day that the Lord has made. Let us all rejoice and be glad in it. I know that Marist is a Catholic school, so they understand the language of faith. So here we go. I'm a believer too. But protests, they happen for a reason. When people are not listened to, they'll speak the only language that we believe. I believe the only language that Marist can understand now is the language of protest. I've spent the entire week since last week with back and forth reports and emails between me, the school principal, the teachers, and now the school board. Unfortunately, no one is brave enough to meet up with me. I've gone to the school, tried to catch up with people, but I would sit at the reception and nobody meets me. And they seem to actually think they can just downplay issues like that. And our girls are suffering from behind the scenes. Fortunately, unfortunate to the school, one of the girls managed to leak a recording of the principal threatening students at the school a few days ago, and that was in the news. I've quoted that as part of my caption. If you want to read that, it's actually quite juicy. So they are trying so hard, but it takes one parent, two parents, three parents to actually stand up and say, these girls are only, they are like, how old are our girls? 11 or 10-year-olds to 17-year-olds. You can imagine it's that critical moment stage of their lives where we can't have them being confused and tortured by things that we can change or we can influence change to. So this is where we come in, and we've come together as parents and said enough is enough. Marist College, black or colored people, they matter, their lives matter. And that's what we're saying. That's the message we're going with. So we are protesting tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. at Marist College for Girls, Tuesday, which is tomorrow here in New Zealand, 7:30 a.m. Address is number 31 Alberton Avenue, Mount Albert, here in Auckland. So all I'm saying is, are you here in Auckland? And if you are you passionate enough about the Black Lives Matter, which is not just the black, the colored, that's what I mean, lives, they matter. And when I say that, I don't mean that any other life doesn't matter. We are saying black or colored lives matter. We are not saying only Black Lives Matter. We know that all lives matter. However, we just need people to help us, especially the Marist board and the Marist teachers and principal, to help us, or to help the girls to say Black Lives Matter. And why are we saying Black Lives? Is because they are the ones who are in danger at the moment. All lives will matter when we've acknowledged that the ones that didn't matter before, they matter now. So we all know that all lives matter. And I have to say that everybody matters. But the problem is we are not acknowledging that these black people, these colored people, have been undermined for so long. We don't really seem to matter in so many situations, be it professional, personal, social, political, economic. We just kind of like get overlooked. So anyway, I've put up that post, and some of the things that have happened over the last 1 week is that girls have been approached by the school and asked to provide their passwords. Can you believe that? To their social media accounts, because the school apparently has become so insecure about what other information is leaking out there. So that's just extreme invasion of our girls' privacies. And that's where we come in and we're saying, no, enough is enough. And some parents like me, we have tried to approach the school. We have tried back and forth emails with the school and now with the school board. And I can't do that anymore. So now I'll speak the only language that they can understand. I'm here to say we all matter. Black lives matter. Our girls matter. They need to be heard. These girls, they have freedom of speech. They have freedom to express themselves, but what I'm finding out is they are being silenced, they are being threatened. So the leaked audio, actually we could hear the principal literally threatening the girls, and that's not acceptable. So that's where we are coming in to say, as parents, our girls, they are too young to carry all that burden on top of trying to catch up with schoolwork and everything. So the parents, we are here to say we support our girls 100%, and we're gonna go there and be advocates on their behalf. So that's tomorrow, and I've shared the YouTube links as well. If you check on the caption, you'll see that I've shared the YouTube links. So why do we protest? Why do people end up getting to that point of saying, okay, I'm gonna protest now? It's because we need to make our opinions heard. We've tried, the girls have tried, but what happened is, if you haven't listened to the story, it's all over the news. The girls just wanted to go in support of the Black Lives Matter following George Floyd's death, obviously strangulation or murder. So they went and made some posters and put them on the school hallway, just really peacefully, and they held hands, had like a quiet moment of like about 8 to 9 minutes to just say, in solidarity with everybody, you know, let's come together in remembrance, in memory of George Floyd, and to say every life matters, Black Lives Matter, and we all matter. Let's hold hands and fight this racism thing together. Principal wasn't happy. She actually believes that it's non-Catholic to do stuff like that, and she went and ripped all those posters without communicating with the girls. So one thing that I've experienced with this principal is that she sucks at communication. It's not the first time she's done anything like that. I've approached her, and I think I've shared this before in my previous video, that she did do something nasty, and I have to call it disgusting, with some of the girls who had shaved their hair. And I found out that she humiliated them in front of the whole school, and one of the girls was literally in tears, so much that I had to go. It had nothing to do with my daughter, but I ended up having to approach the principal to say that is not okay. Why would you do something like that to anybody? Do you even care or understand why a teenage girl would get to the extent of shaving their head, walking around bald? There must be a story behind all that behavior. So we had a 41 minutes long chat, which I mean, I'm trying to discuss with the board right now. And then one other thing that I've been trying to talk to the board about is that the school, because of the COVID-19, we all know that Marist College actually ended up with the highest, as our biggest cluster, one of our biggest clusters here in New Zealand for COVID-19. What people don't know is that just a few days before that was announced, I had actually spoken to the school regarding the trip that had been arranged for our girls to go to France, and I told them that, well, as an infection control specialist, consultant myself, I have actually seen how the numbers are trending, and it wouldn't be advisable for the girls to travel, and I'm not paying the extra amount that's required for the trip. I want my money back. And the school argued with me that no, that was not going to happen. There is no COVID in the country. As it happens, they went and did something that exposed so many people in different schools, a festival of some sort, and that's why they ended up being the biggest cluster. And so we can see how stupid people can be, and they know I've called them that before. But anyway, following that, now we are in COVID isolation. One thing that I had not shared with people is that so many of our girls ended up becoming COVID-19 positive, and this is something I thought I was going to share with people as a separate video or as a separate alert, to say that, you know what, we were quiet for so long, but our children, my daughter got exposed to COVID-19 too. And I didn't share this with people because I had to seek for her permission to share that information. But now it's public knowledge that so many of our girls got exposed to COVID-19. They survived it, praise the Lord. However, I am upset because I had actually forewarned the school that COVID was around the country, yet they were fighting and asking, arguing with me to say you need to pay the extra for the kids to go to France. So we ended up with a bunch of our kids testing positive for COVID-19 in 2020 because of some stupid, board and principal who wouldn't listen or pay attention to what was happening across the globe. And following that COVID-19 exposure, we get phone calls from the school deans telling us that our children were the least achievers in the school year. And knowing our kids, like I knew my daughter and I knew that we had gone through quite a lot. So I said, no, my daughter is fine. As long as she gets above 50%, I'm happy with the grades. But they started trying to convince me that my daughter was dumb. And I just learned recently that they did that to quite a few other children. So these are the phone calls we're getting whilst we're in isolation, quite depressing. My daughter actually described that as depressing. It just causes unnecessary anxiety. It makes you feel demoralized. That's how she felt. And so following that, I actually ended up taking over the phone call from my daughter because they wanted her to drop some subjects because they had listed them as they can't make it in school because of whatever was going on during the COVID-19. And following that, I told them that my daughter was to remain in the class that she was in, and she wasn't to drop any subject unless she really wanted to do that. And only now I realized that they'd been doing it to quite a few other students. And why were they doing that? It was actually their way of showing. They knew that because of the way they were managing the school, most of the kids were actually lagging behind. So one way was to try and make them do a subject called Enhance, which is a subject where you don't need to use your brain at all. So you just get given max credit for being around the school. And I thought, this doesn't make sense. And my daughter explained it to me and I said, no, that's not happening. So they tried to do it to different other students. And I had to actually stand up for those and say, no, tell your parents that you are going to stick with your accounting. You're going to stick with your science. You're going to stick with this. And I sent an email to the school and to the school board. So why am I sharing this with you all is to say that the struggles are real here, but there are times where you won't influence change. You won't get any move or any movement unless you do something, unless you speak up. I might sound like I'm a vocal person, but I just don't become vocal for nothing. There's obviously a lot of things going on from behind the scenes, and obviously somebody has to speak up, somebody has to say something. And at the moment, we've had quite a few back and forth emails, and we don't know how far that is going to go. But of all the things that I've listed, I mean, I don't have to bore people with all the details. I mean, I'll attach a PDF of whatever, everything else that is going on. We are still going ahead with the protest, whatever happens. And the main reason why I am leading this protest is actually because I've tried my best to communicate everything with the school and the school board. I only managed to get traction from the school board last night, which was Sunday, yesterday afternoon, Sunday in New Zealand time, from an email that I had sent on Thursday last week, from something that I had requested from them on Tuesday last week. So to me, it appears like people just look at me like, that black woman, what can she know? What can she do? So now I'm doing the only thing that they seem to understand, communicating in the language that they seem to understand, which is protest. And the girls, I'm sure they are all keen to come and be heard. So we're gonna go tomorrow, and I am hoping that the media will come and join us as well, as we do this tomorrow morning. We'll keep you updated. We'll do some live videos whilst we're there, but that's where we are at the moment. Oh, what else was I gonna share with people here? So that's what's happening in Auckland, in New Zealand, guys, in case people were wondering why I am so quiet today. So after the poster was taken down by the principal, this is what the girls said, but it seems like nobody's hearing them. You taking down posters only goes to show how uncomfortable and confronted you feel. They were saying this to their principal, and I think I read this last time. We don't understand how you can be of Pacific descent and still yet push your own aside to please the oppressors as well as yourself. You are shutting down students' initiatives that helped create safe spaces that you and your team failed to do. So I agree with the students on that. It is the fact that you allowed this to happen and made us feel this way. So they are blaming the principal for that. If anything, you are not the only one feeling attacked. I mean, look at your students having to use social media platforms as an outlet to voice their opinions, because the place we considered safe is no longer tolerating our voices. So the students have actually gone to creating pages and groups just to communicate their grievances from Marist College. But now what the school has done as of today is they've shut down Wi-Fi. Students cannot access internet, like, as long as they are on school grounds. And like I've said at the start of this video, the principal has also made an initiative to get access of the students' passwords and social media accounts from the younger ones. I think the 10 to 13-year-olds, which is not acceptable. That's invasion of privacy, and we won't let that happen. These girls, they have the right to freedom of speech. They have the right to freedom of expression. And we are saying enough is enough. They went on to say it's all about you, you, you. What happened to we? Quit sugarcoating and weaponizing your actions with all lives matter. Because when the Black Lives Matter, the Colored Lives Matter in the school, in the school that you run, and the Black Lives or Colored Lives matter, then all lives will matter. So it is until we start realizing that these black people, these black colored people matter, that's when everybody will matter. Because at the moment, we just want to have this notion of thinking and believing that everybody matters right now. But no, you have to recognize the ones you looked at as slaves, the ones that were enslaved for so many decades and centuries. Because some people still look at us as if we're slaves. So we need to stop that. Once we know that these people matter, then everybody matters. So one other thing I believe I wanted to share with people is my exchanges with the board. Really, it hasn't gone well, and maybe I'll share that as a separate as a separate video in detail. But today I just really wanted to alert people that we are going ahead with the protest, whatever it takes. I've already informed the police to say that's what I am doing, together with another bunch of parents and students. And I've received phone calls from different places saying, Katina, we saw something, is it true? I said, yes, it is true. It's happening, and this video has to go as far as wherever it can go. I don't care, really. We've had enough. I've seen racism from professional side of things, and I'm gonna be speaking up about those. I've been paid to shut up, and I think I've had enough. I have heard enough. Somebody does something, but the moment it's done by a colored person, it becomes the responses that we get are quite extreme from something that a European person has done. Or sometimes something happens in the office, the first person they suspect is the black person or the colored person, and that nonsense is going to stop, because we are going to start speaking up and actually exposing everything that we were discouraged or told not to talk about. So no more hush monies and all the things that have been happening in the past. It's time to speak up if we really want to influence change, if we want to move forward as a nation or as nations, wherever you are. If you're listening to me, we have to speak up. It will make some people uncomfortable, but one thing I know is the truth will piss people off before it sets people free. So it will piss you off first before it sets you free. But we're going to speak up. And that's what we're trying to teach our girls, that speak up. Speak up. And we're going to speak up until they hear us. As you can see, I'm not angry. But what I'm going to have is called righteous anger, where I'm going to speak my truth with passion, with power, with fire, with everything that I've got. To say Black life matters, everybody matters, but everybody will matter when you realize that Black lives or colored lives actually do matter. So thank you so much, everyone who watched this or who's gonna watch this. And I have to say that, like, one thing that has really humbled me over the last few weeks is that most of the protesters across the globe were actually European. So we do have a significant a number of people that are of European origin who are actually taking on the lead of saying, no, we have seen this nasty bug called racism. It's a virus, really, and we want to do something about it. We've seen it happening to people around us, or we've done it before to somebody else, and we want to put a stop to this, and we're going to stand with our brothers and sisters, whether they're colored or Black or whatever color they are. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who is thinking like that. And then I do have a few people that have argued with me even on social media. I have to say stuff you to those people. I wish I could swear right now, but this video is going to go really far. So no, I have to say stuff you, because if you haven't experienced racism, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard about it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So that nonsense, that rubbish where people come and start giving me their religious Jesus Christ saves and this, the Jesus that I know knows that racism exists. He knows that. We have to speak up about this shit so that it can stop. So racism exists, whether you've experienced it or not. And if you are racist, and if you are in denial that it exists, please unfriend me as soon as possible. I don't need those kind of followers. I don't need those kind of people on my friends list. And I'm talking because I'm on Facebook at the moment. So really, it's quite frustrating when you find people who say they go preaching the gospel in Africa. What are you preaching if you don't believe that racism exists? Because that's one thing we're actually hoping that people can go spreading the message of love, but of truth and of hope to people. Because when people see Europeans in Africa, they kind of like worship them. Maybe that's why you believe there is no racism, because they worship you when you go to Africa. We don't need that. So yes, guys, everybody. 7:30 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be there earlier than that with my family, and we look forward to a peaceful protest where we're gonna be heard at 31 Alberton Avenue in Mount Albert. That's at Marist College. And just so people can know, the police, I did visit them today, and I'll make another phone call tomorrow just to make sure that everything is in order. So we have to take some of these initiatives. It doesn't matter that I might be a nobody, but somebody has to do it on behalf of our girls. So God bless you guys, and feel free to share this video, and anything that I share on my Facebook that is shareable, means it's shareable. Let it go as far as it can go, as long as the message is heard. We're gonna stop this racism demon. It's here, it exists in New Zealand. It's nasty. It's probably worse than what America is experiencing, but in New Zealand it's because it gets downplayed and people kind of like accept it as the norm. And that's why we're saying enough is enough. The Maori people here, the Pacific Islanders, I would say non-Europeans mainly, we experience it, we see it, we get paid to shut up. We end up feeling like we don't have a say, and it's time now to start speaking up, and our girls have started it. So why not join in with our girls at Marist and say, yes, enough is enough. So God bless you guys, and I am just gonna sign out of this with hope and trust that like the Marist board, I'm sure they're gonna watch this in the school, that they they'll be on board with this evolving paradigm of you know, racism, and that one day we'll knock this racism demon down once and for all, and just see every person as, hey, you bleed blood, you bleed red, and you are human. I'm human. Doesn't matter what color you are. So God bless you guys. I love you all so much. I'm gonna get ready now. I need to make some more posters for tomorrow, and I will keep you updated. Goodbye.